In today's exploration, we delve into the complex and often misunderstood realm of what we're terming religious devils. This concept isn't about demonizing faith or its followers, but aims to shed light on behaviors and attitudes that contradict the very essence of spiritual teachings. Throughout history, religion has been a source of comfort, guidance, and community for billions. However, it's undeniable that certain individuals manipulate these beliefs for personal gain, sow division, or perpetuate harm under the guise of righteousness. The term religious devil here refers not to a supernatural being, but to individuals who, while appearing devout, exhibit traits and behaviors that are antithetical to the core values of compassion, humility, and love that many religions preach. These can range from hypocrisy and manipulation to intolerance and judgmental attitudes. Our discussion is centered around identifying these behaviors to foster awareness and encourage genuine, empathetic faith practices. We approach this sensitive topic with the utmost respect for all faith traditions and their followers. This video is not an indictment of any particular religion or belief system, but rather an invitation to reflect on the behaviors that undermine the integrity of religious communities. Our aim is to promote understanding, tolerance, and introspection within and across religious lines. The first sign that someone may be a religious devil is an extreme show of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy, in the context of religion, refers to the act of professing beliefs, feelings, or virtues that one does not hold or live by. It's a discrepancy between public declarations and private actions, where individuals might preach about moral standards, virtues, or religious laws, but fail to apply these principles in their own lives. This dissonance not only undermines personal integrity, but can also lead to disillusionment and mistrust within a community, as the actions of the hypocrites speak louder than their words. Real-life examples of religious hypocrisy are sadly not uncommon. Consider a leader who vocally condemns certain behaviors as immoral according to their faith, yet engages in those very actions behind closed doors, or followers who are quick to judge and criticize others for their supposed sins while ignoring their own moral failings. These scenarios reveal a lack of genuine commitment to the faith's core teachings and a prioritization of appearance over substance. Recognizing hypocrisy in a religious context requires keen observation and critical thinking. Look for inconsistencies between what someone says and what they do, especially when their actions harm others or contradict the ethical teachings of their faith. It's also important to listen for overly judgmental or sanctimonious language, which can mask an attempt to elevate oneself by belittling others. Ultimately, a hypocrite's actions will reveal a disconnect between their public persona and private conduct, providing a clear indicator of their true nature. The second thing you may notice in a religious devil is manipulation using fear. Manipulation using fear is a tactic where individuals or groups exploit fear to control or influence others' beliefs and actions. In religious contexts, this can take the form of threatening eternal punishment, ostracization, or divine retribution for questioning doctrines or failing to conform to prescribed behaviors. This fear is not a natural consequence of faith, but a deliberate tool used to maintain power and control, stifling healthy questioning and personal spiritual growth. Historically, the use of fear as a manipulative tool can be traced back to various inquisitions, witch hunts, and religious wars, where the fear of heresy, apostasy, or blasphemy led to extreme measures against supposed offenders. In contemporary settings, it might manifest in sermons or teachings that focus excessively on punishment rather than forgiveness, love, and compassion, or in communities where questioning is met with threats of expulsion or divine wrath. These examples underscore how fear can undermine the foundations of faith, replacing trust and understanding with anxiety and compliance. Identifying fear-based manipulation in religious contexts involves recognizing when fear is used disproportionately to enforce beliefs or actions. This can be seen in communication that focuses more on the negative consequences of non-compliance than on the positive aspects of faith. It's also evident in environments where questioning or dissent is discouraged through intimidation, or where the consequences for stepping out of line are exaggerated to instill fear. Being aware of these tactics can empower individuals to question, seek authentic spiritual experiences, and resist manipulation. The third sign that someone is a religious devil is intolerance and a judgmental attitude. Intolerance in a religious setting manifests as an unwillingness to accept beliefs, practices, or individuals that differ from one's own religious views. This often couples with a judgmental attitude, where individuals not only reject, but also harshly evaluate others for their beliefs or lifestyle choices, claiming moral or religious superiority. Such behaviors directly conflict with the teachings of compassion, love, and understanding that are central to many religions. Intolerance can lead to a divided community, where solidarity is replaced with segregation and dialogue with dismissal. The consequences of a judgmental attitude are profound, affecting both the targeted individuals and the community as a whole. It fosters an environment of fear and suppression, where people are reluctant to express their doubts or beliefs. This can lead to emotional and spiritual distress, hinder personal and communal growth, and even incite violence or discrimination against those deemed different or wrong. The very fabric of a community can unravel when judgment replaces empathy, as it erodes trust and mutual respect. Recognizing and dealing with intolerance involves a conscious effort to understand and empathize with perspectives different from our own. This can be achieved by actively listening to others, engaging in open and respectful dialogue, and challenging our own preconceptions. It's also important to cultivate an environment where questioning and doubt are not only permitted but encouraged, to foster a deeper, more inclusive understanding of faith. Recognizing that true faith promotes love and acceptance over condemnation can be a powerful antidote to intolerance and judgmental attitudes. The next sign that you need to look out for is an obsession with power and control over others. The obsession with power and control within religious groups often manifests through hierarchical structures and authoritative figures who seek to dominate beliefs and dictate behaviors. This dynamic can distort the essence of religious teachings, prioritizing obedience and control over spiritual growth and community welfare. Leaders may use their authority to enforce strict adherence to their interpretations of religious texts, stifling dissent and promoting a culture of fear and submission. Such environments can hinder personal autonomy and spiritual exploration, as the emphasis shifts from faith and understanding to compliance and control. Historically, the quest for power in religious contexts has led to significant conflicts and abuses, from the Crusades to the manipulation of religious texts to justify slavery or colonialism. The desire for control has often overshadowed the foundational principles of compassion and equity in various faith traditions. In more recent times, the misuse of power is evident in scandals involving exploitation and abuse within religious institutions, where authority figures have taken advantage of their positions to exploit the vulnerable, betraying the trust placed in them by their followers. Spotting signs of unhealthy power dynamics involves being vigilant for behaviors that prioritize the institution or its leaders above the well-being of the community. Warning signs include a lack of transparency in decision-making, discouragement or punishment of questioning and dissent, and the glorification of leaders to an extent that they are beyond reproach. Additionally, a healthy religious community encourages open dialogue, fosters a sense of empowerment among its members, and practices accountability. Recognizing these signs can help individuals and communities resist and address the misuse of power, fostering an environment where faith can flourish in a context of respect, freedom, and equality. The fifth sign you may see is a lack of compassion and understanding for others. Compassion is a cornerstone of many religious teachings, emphasizing the importance of empathy, understanding, and kindness towards others. This fundamental value is meant to guide interactions within communities, promoting a sense of connection and mutual respect. When compassion is present, it encourages actions that uplift and support, reflecting the core of spiritual teachings that advocate for love, forgiveness, and benevolence. A lack of compassion, however, can lead to exclusion, suffering, and deep divisions, betraying the essence of these teachings. Historical and contemporary examples abound where a lack of compassion has led to significant harm. Instances include the exclusion or harsh treatment of individuals based on their lifestyle choices, beliefs, or identities, often justified by selective interpretations of religious texts. The residential school system, which aimed to assimilate Indigenous children in Canada and the United States by removing them from their culture and families, serves as a stark reminder of the devastating impact when compassion is absent in religious and institutional practices. Such examples highlight the dire consequences of compassion's absence, underscoring the importance of its presence in religious communities. Fostering a more compassionate outlook within religious contexts involves active efforts to understand and empathize with the experiences and perspectives of others, even and especially when they differ from our own. It requires a commitment to listening and learning, to recognizing the inherent worth of every individual, and to practicing the kind of unconditional love that many religions preach. Engaging in community service, interfaith dialogues, and educational programs can also help broaden understanding and increase empathy. By prioritizing compassion in our beliefs and actions, we can bridge divides and build more inclusive, supportive communities that truly reflect the values at the heart of religious teachings. The final sign that someone may be a religious devil is twisting religious texts for personal gain. The misinterpretation of religious texts for personal gain involves deliberately twisting sacred scriptures to serve individual interests, whether for power, financial gain, or to justify unethical behaviors. This manipulation undermines the integrity of religious teachings and can lead to widespread confusion, division, and even conflict within communities. By selectively quoting or interpreting texts in ways that align with personal agendas, individuals or groups can assert control, exclude others, or legitimize harmful practices, all under the guise of divine sanction. Historical and contemporary examples of such misuse are widespread, cutting across various religions and cultures, from justifying slavery and oppression using biblical texts to the distortion of Islamic teachings to endorse violence, or the exploitation of Hindu scriptures to enforce caste discrimination. The consequences of misusing religious texts are profoundly damaging. These instances not only distort the original messages of compassion, justice, and equality found in these texts, but also cause immense suffering and division among followers. To critically assess interpretations of religious teachings, it's essential to approach them with a combination of faith and reason. This includes considering the historical and cultural context of the scriptures, consulting a variety of interpretations from respected sources, and reflecting on whether the interpretations promote the overarching principles of love, justice, and compassion inherent in most religious traditions. Engaging in dialogue with diverse members of one's faith community can also provide valuable insights and foster a more nuanced understanding. Ultimately, a critical, informed approach can help safeguard against the manipulation of religious texts and ensure that interpretations remain true to the core values and intentions of the faith. We encourage viewers to approach religious teachings and practices with both critical thinking and empathy. Questioning, after all, is not a sign of weak faith, but a step towards deeper understanding and authenticity. By fostering an environment where open dialogue and diverse perspectives are valued, we can work towards more inclusive and compassionate religious communities. As a call to action, we invite you to engage with this content critically. Share your thoughts, experiences, or further research in the comments below. Let's create a constructive dialogue that celebrates faith's power to unite and uplift rather than divide. Your voice is a crucial part of this ongoing conversation about the role of religion in our lives and how we can all strive for a more understanding and empathetic world. Keep seeking, keep growing, and until next time, stay connected.